It is Tuesday night, and we are live for round number 8 of the County Road Custom Late Model Challenger Series. Tonight, a huge field of drivers, almost 36, I believe, going for just 28 spots in the feature event. I am Jeff Fry Jr., joined by Bill Tomer in the broadcast booth. And Bill, it is getting down crunch time in the season because we are just 2 races away from the ITZR playoffs, and these guys got to figure out how to get themselves into the top 8 in points.
That's right. We start to separate the men from the boys, don't we, Jeff? We start to figure out which guys are going to make it into. I guess that's kind of sexist, isn't it? Maybe it should be the good drivers from the bench. I don't know. But it's the top 8 guys that are going to. There it is again. Forget it. The top 8 drivers are going to get into this playoffs in about 2 races here. So we're going to start to figure out which guys are really serious about running for this championship and some of the guys that aren't.
Well, Reagan Parent sits atop the standings. He is here tonight along with Bladen Edwards. JP Bergeron not in attendance tonight, sitting 3rd in points. That could be a big hit for him. Last week's winner, Blake Throberg, sitting 4th in the standings. Ricky Howell, 5th. AJ Rogers, I believe AJ is here. Let me double check that. No, I don't actually see AJ Rogers here as well. So, oh no, he is here. So Braxton DeWeese, Kieran Church, your top 8, but a lot of drivers on the outside that have been fast. Tony Quadros, JJ Chansey, newcomer Cody Bohm. He's making a charge. He missed the first 2 races of the season, came into the series late, and he is making a charge at maybe making the top 8.
I think you gave JP Bergeron his reminder a little bit late tonight, Jeff, and didn't make the field here.
Yeah, actually, I just see he just responded on Facebook, so he's got about 3 minutes here as we go into Wisconsin Weens and Walleyes qualifying. Here we go, $5, 5 bonus points on the line.
Cars hitting the racetrack. Jason Warren out there at the moment. Ricky Howell, I think, was he not quickest in practice, Jeff?
I believe, yeah, Ricky Howell was fastest in practice over Braxton DeWeese and Blake Throberg. So watch out for him in this qualifying session. He had a lot of speed last week as well, qualified 3rd at South Boston. So Ricky Howell could go pole here. Top of the board early, Rick Rube. Now he gets bumped by AJ Rogers, 16.887. AJ went much quicker than he ever did in practice, so that was a heck of a pickup there. AJ Rogers, top of the board. That is going to be a tough lap to beat, an 8.
Well, Rick Rube had speed last night, finishing 6th in the late model shootout series race. Had a good qualifying effort as well. We'll continue to monitor him.
Top 20 going to lock directly into the feature. Braxton DeWeese, P2, 16.920, similar to his practice speed. So that is about the target of what these guys are running. So AJ Rogers really found something there in that qualifying session. Bladen Edwards, 16.914, goes 2nd overall. And again, it's going to take a huge pickup to be able to catch AJ Rogers. That was a screaming lap.
Yeah, that is a fast lap from the 17 car. Jason Kezar out on the racetrack in the 27, going to finish off his lap. Kezar going to go P19.
Throberg just goes P6 overall. JJ Chansey, 16.886, beats AJ Rogers by 1,000th of a second.
Kieran Church on the racetrack in the number 22. Not many cars left qualifying. I think Caleb Hill is out there as well. Kieran Church gets his lap done. Here's Caleb Hill in the 01.
Yeah, Ricky Howell, who we were expecting, he was fastest in practice. He did not get the lap he was expecting, 16.996. I mean, it was still a good lap, but these guys are so tight. I mean, he was off maybe 500ths, and that was the difference between being pole and possibly not even locking himself into the feature. He might be in a B main.
Caleb Hill goes P16. That puts him in the show. Nice job, Caleb.
And nice lap there from the 1 car. And Bill, that is it.
That's it.
So JJ Chansey with his first Wisconsin Weens and Walleyes Quick Time Award, and he's going to lock himself into tonight's feature event. AJ Rogers, P2, Bladen Edwards, Braxton DeWeese, Rick Rube, all going to pick up some qualifying bonus points tonight. And that is very important for some of those guys because Braxton, Bladen, Rick Rube, even AJ Rogers trying to squeak his way into the top 8. And we're going to get set to go racing for tonight's B main. So, Bill, it's going to be the top 8 drivers moving on to the tonight's feature event on the pole. In car number 2, it'll be Todd Cousins on the outside of him. And the 17, that's Mr. Thunderstruck himself, Josh Oswald.
Starting third in the number 92 machine, that is Dylan Schreiner. We saw him race here last night. Had some issues in the late model shootout series. And on the outside of him in the number 12, it's William Griffith.
Starting 5th will be the 27 of Jason Keyser. On the outside of him in the 38, it's Travis Roma.
Sam Wetstein's going to roll off P7 in the 98 car, and to his outside in the number 83, that's Josh Vanger.
Starting 9th tonight will be the 18 of Casey Wiggins. On the outside of him, it's scheduled to be the 03 of Jason Lottridge. He hasn't gridded quite yet. There he is. Now the 03 is on track.
Craig Tully will roll off P11 in that 50 car, and to his outside, wow, coming off a decent run last night in the 71 car, going to start deep in this B main. That's the 71 car, Peter Fisher.
Starting 13th will be the Wisconsin Weens and Walleyes machine, the 5 of John Piet. On the outside of him, at car number 107, that's Christopher Adkins.
Starting 15th and the number 3, that's David Hill, and to his outside, I believe he still leads B main points, Jeff. That's the 39 car, Scott Negus.
And starting last in this B main, he's got some work to do if he wants to race in tonight's feature event, the 22 machine, that's CJ Grooms. Well, Bill, here we go. A huge B main. It looks like 17 cars gridded here for this B main. 8 going to move on to the feature event. Todd Cousins out front. And as you mentioned, the B main points in play. This is a huge B main. So a chance for some of these guys to maybe gain some points. And Scott Negus, who's going to be starting deep in this one. Caleb Hill locked himself in the A main, so he's sitting second in B main points, not even going to be part of this one because he already locked himself in tonight. Jason Lottridge in the B main points. Brad Carpenter locked himself in. David Hill's already in, so maybe Scott Negus might be all right as pace car heads off the racetrack. Here we go. Todd Cousins going to take him green flag racing. We are off and away in the B main looking for 8 drivers to move on to tonight's feature event.
25 laps, the distance of your B main. Down into turn number 1, Todd Cousins going to take the lead in that 2 car. Josh Oswald going to slip back to 3rd in the 17. Here comes William Griffith in the 12. He's going to look underneath Josh Oswald for that 3rd spot. A little bit farther back, you've got Travis Roma in that 38, and Jason Keyser going side by side. And man, behind them, cars all over each other.
Yeah, that's right around the transfer position as Josh Vanger got up the racetrack in the 83. Sam Weststein going to go by. Here comes the 18 of Casey Wiggins. He's looking for a spot, and he's dragging along the 03 of Jason Lottridge. Now the 83 is stuck up on the outside. He's going to need to find a place in line here.
Side-by-side racing. Wetstein a little bit loose in that 98 car. He's going to lose some ground. They're going to go 3 wide into 3. Wetstein on the very bottom. He doesn't want to slide up in the 18 of Wiggins.
Wiggins going to clear, but Weststein's still struggling there. That car got big time sideways, and it hasn't been able to correct itself there as he finally gets back into the groove. The 83 trying to get around him on the outside. That is the battle for the transfer spot. Last time by, the 83 on the outside had the spot, but he's going backwards now as he gets together with Craig Tolley. Here comes Peter Fisher up the inside with Jason Lottridge. They're looking 3 wide again.
3 wide racing through 1 and 2. Now Lottridge going to back out of the middle. Here comes John Piet in the 5. A lot of tight racing. This is basically just a giant battle for the transfer spot. As right now Sam Wetstein in that 98 car, he has Craig Tully right behind him. That's the battle for that 8th and final transfer as Tully's going to look to the inside and 1.
Out front, it's all Todd Cousins by half a second over Dylan Schreiner. This is the best racing on the racetrack. Back here for the 8th and final transfer spot. Sam Weststein has it. Craig Tolley is charging hard. Tolley started 11th. He's got Peter Fisher behind him coming in 12th. And there goes Tolley to the inside. The battle is on for the 8th and final spot.
Battle on for the 8th and final spot. Jeff, you said it. Here comes Craig Tully. He wants it. Wetstein has it. Wetstein up the racetrack. No battle side by side off turn 4. We might have a problem. I think Vanger has issues in turn 4.
John Piet around as well as he got hooked together with the 83 machine. Caution's going to wave here on lap 7 of the B main. It looked like the 5 and the 83 just kind of went for the same place on the racetrack there.
Ooh, Vanger hit the wall hard in turn 4.
And Piet's, looking at the replay, Piet's on the inside down most of the straightaway, and I think the 83 just got the idea he was clear just right before entry of the corner. He probably got a message there, Carl, clear low, starts to come down the racetrack, but the 5 makes up that time on the very inside of the racetrack, and they just come together.
They had been side by side through turns 1 and 2, and I think Banger just at the very, like you said, for an instant there, he thought he was clear.
Heavy damage to Banger's car. He's heading down pit road. That thing is smoking, and then probably going to end his night right now in the 83. Well, looking at the Facebook chat, Jeff By in the house cheering for Dylan Schreiner. Reagan Parent said, tonight is harder to qualify than on Monday nights. Ricky Howell said he missed turn 1 and qualified by just a little, cost him a lot. Frank Griffith here cheering for AJ Rogers. Isaac in the house. And Zach Oden in the house cheering for the SPM boys.
Trying to get a look at Josh Vanger's car down there. There we got a shot of it. You can see he's getting some of that repair, or some of that damage repaired. Unfortunately for Vanger, he's going multiple laps down trying to get some of that car back. But you said it, Jeff, that car was smoking. I'm pretty sure Vanger's probably done for the evening.
Yeah, he's sitting on pit road right now. Danny in the house cheering for Scott Negus, who I believe is sitting about the 13th position right now. We'll know once a couple of the cars involved in the incident are scored at the rear of the field. The way the scoring works, it freezes at the point of the previous completed lap. But we do know the 83 is on pit road. It was currently being scored in 12th.
I think Negus is running 14th. I think.
Well, pace car going to double them up right here. Todd Cousins, Dylan Schreiner, Josh Oswald, William Griffith, your top 4. Travis Roma runs 5th with Jason Keyser, Casey Wiggins, Sam Weststein in that 8th and final transfer spot. And he had gotten passed by Craig Tolley, I believe, right before that caution. So Tolley going to have to restart in 9th because they did not complete a lap after that pass. So, again, Peter Fisher in 10th, Jason Lottridge. Looks like David Hill back there as we go green flag racing once again in the B-main, looking for 8 drivers to move on.
Are spreading out all over the racetrack. First battle on the racetrack is going to be for 3rd. Josh Oswald's on the bottom. William Griffith on the top in the 12. They're going to sort that out. Here comes Travis Roma in the 38. He almost looked underneath Griffith going into 3. He wasn't able to make the move.
Well, good battling all throughout the field right now. Craig Tolley was able to get up into 7th. Jason Lottridge into the 8th and final transfer spot. Now the pressure is on Sam Weststein. He needs to start passing some cars. Can he get back up there? David Hill and Jason Keyser get hooked together. Keyser up into the wall. We're going to continue racing. Now the 107 and the 3 get together. Big moment there as we continue on racing. Green flag still. It's Jason Lottridge in the 8th and final transfer spot. Can Sam Weststein reel him back in?
Lottridge has cleared Weststein by quite a bit now in that 98 car. He's not able to close in on your 03, so right now Lottridge feeling pretty comfortable. Weststein trying to make some lap time, so you can see him trying to get through 3 and 4 quickly there. We saw this from Colby Bryant last night, Jeff. If you drive the car too hard, you will wear it out in the B-main.
Yeah, and it's wearing out that right rear you don't want to do. That's what got Colby Bryant in trouble last night in the B-main. He just started to wear that right rear tire out. The car kept getting looser and looser and looser. And you got to keep the balance under it. That's the big thing. You got to drive the tires so you can keep the balance. And trouble on the front straightaway. David Hill gets together. I believe that's Chris Atkins.
And Chris Atkins got the inside wall in that 107 car.
Yeah, that was Atkins. It looked like he just kind of went around. Maybe just as you like to say, an all by myself moment. Got the front straightaway wall. And then David Hill trying to figure out where the 107's not going to be. Ends up kind of spinning into him.
Yeah, it was kind of a spin to avoid. And then sometimes we call that target fixation, Jeff, when you're trying to avoid something and you run into it. They say don't do that on a motorcycle. You end up in bad spots.
Yeah, it's a bad deal there. Well, we will go back to single file restarts. Our new B-main rules is 1 double file restart. All additional restarts will be single file. Looks like Atkins going to come down pit road. Heavy damage to the 107. A lot of the drivers on the radios right now, the A main guys, all cheering for the 22 of CJ Grooms, and they're all trying to give him advice. They're all telling him, get on the top side, roll the top. So CJ back there, I believe he's running in the 13th position right now, and the rest of the A main boys are trying to fill him in, get him into the show.
I think CJ was one of the, I think he started shotgun on the field, Jeff. So let's say he qualified slowest, but that's not a, I mean, he was right there. It wasn't he was slow. He just was the slowest of everyone else, right? I mean, everybody's so close together in this car. These guys just trying to give him a little bit of a tip, trying to get him, you know, a little bit more speed, and that could do it for the 22 to try to get in the field.
Yeah, I think CJ is making his first start with the series, and he was telling some of the guys right before the B main started, he was shaking. He was so nervous about this. So CJ just happy to be part of the series, and the guys are trying to help him out a bit.
Tiny bit of damage on the right front of that car. Just has a couple scrapes. Doesn't seem like much more. Good looking race car in that 22, but we do need to get him to get those contingencies on the car.
Yeah, definitely need the contingency decals on the car if you want to get paid at the end of the season. Should see the pace car lights out this time, and we'll go back to a single file restart with Todd Cousins, Dylan Schreiner, Josh Oswald, William Griffith, Travis Roma, Casey Wiggins, Craig Tolley, Jason Lottridge in the 8 transfer spots. Sam Westine on the outside needs one more position. Peter Fisher back there. Scott Negus up into the 11th position. And single file restart might make it a little more difficult for Sam Westine. He's going to have to drive around Jason Lottridge now. He doesn't get the advantage of the double file, maybe catching somebody on the outside. He's going to have to do it the hard way as we go back. Green flag racing for Todd Cousins in the B main.
Single file restart really strung out in the field. Dylan Schreiner going to be in second there. Josh Oswald third. We're going to jump back and look at Lottridge and see what kind of pressure he's getting from Westy. Westy not able to stay close to the 03 car in that restart, so he's got about a car length gap between he and 8th place. That's the final transfer.
Sam Westine still maintaining that gap, though. Jason Lottridge hasn't been able to pull away, and now Sam down the back straightaway actually narrowed that gap a little bit. So the 98 might have a little something here towards the end of this race.
Peter Fisher in the 71, Scott Negus, your B main points leader. They're looking on as well. They need to gain a little speed to try to get in this A main.
Everybody being kind up front, just single file your top 6-7 runners, nobody under pressure there. So it all comes down to Sam Westine. Can he catch Jason Lottridge in the 03?
That's the battle we're watching. We're watching Westine right behind Lottridge. Lottridge not really giving up anything to the 98. Time is ticking away. Now Lottridge is starting to close in a little bit on Craig Tully. That could make things very interesting as this race comes to a close.
Yeah, I'm not sure Lottridge necessarily wants that to happen. He's probably thinking the 50 car needs to pick up the pace here, because he doesn't want to have to race anybody and definitely doesn't want to get slowed down. So right now he's in a good spot. Can he just hold on as we cross the line for 6 to go?
This one might get interesting as Lottridge starts to close on the back bumper of Craig Tully. Tully on the same race team as Travis Roma, who's running in the 5th position.
Yeah, Lottridge is gaining on Tolley, and it looks like Tolley's car maybe getting a little tighter and then a little loose there off the corner exit. So he's definitely starting to drop some speed here, and that is going to play havoc for Jason Lottridge, who's now going to end up having to race the 50 machine as we get down to about 4 laps to go here.
That's what Westine wants to see. He wants to see Lottridge putting pressure on the 50, see some racing happening. Westine needs that to happen. Slow those cars down just a little bit so he can get up there and battle for that final transfer.
Nothing happening out front. It's all Todd Cousins, half a second over Dylan Schreiner, with Josh Oswald, William Griffith, Travis Roma, Casey Wiggins, and Craig Tolley in tow. This is the best battle on the racetrack right here, as they're going to come around, and actually they're going to see the checkered flag here. So we are over the time limit. So Todd Cousins going to win. Dylan Schreiner, Josh Oswald, William Griffith, Travis Roma, Casey Wiggins, Craig Tolley, and Jason Lottridge moving on to tonight's feature event.
Westine just couldn't muster enough speed at the end. Tried so hard. Now they'll get their 2-minute warm-up session as these drivers that have been sitting on pit road for the last 25 laps watching the B main, they get an opportunity to jump in the race cars. Get them felt back out. Jeff, we only had 16 cars partake in the warm-up session last night. That surprised me. I wonder if we're going to have more tonight.
Yeah, some drivers quick to get out on the racetrack. And again, mostly the A main guys that haven't gotten any practice yet. A lot of the B main guys are going to go look at tires right now and try to figure out what they might have done wrong over that 25-lap run. So looking at the chat, Hunter Harriet was cheering for CJ. Mason Johnson was cheering for CJ. They were trying to get a fan vote going to get CJ Grooms into the main event tonight. Dalton Schrum here cheering for JJ Chansey.
This isn't the all-star race. That's good, though. I like the support. I like people letting people or wanting people to see certain guys get in the race. Unfortunately, Jeff, CJ Grooms is out warming the car up now, and he did not transfer.
Yeah, unfortunately, the driver's not moving on to tonight's feature event. Sam Weststein, first car out. Peter Fisher, Scott Negus, John Piet, CJ Grooms, David Hill, Chris Atkins, Jason Keyser, and Josh Vanger. And as we said, I mean, there's two guys that ran pretty well last night in the late model shootout series. Peter Fisher, John Piet don't even make the race tonight after making it last night and running well. So this is how tough the series is. You can run well on Monday night and still get knocked out on Tuesday.
Yeah, it is super, super difficult. It's unbelievable. The late model shootout series is a tiny level above this, but there are still such good drivers in this race, in this field, that even if you do well on Monday nights, I mean, you just never know what's going to happen on Tuesdays because the level is right there as well. There's a lot of really, really good drivers here. So you see a bunch of guys that ran last night when we didn't have a B main that bumped cars out, and they get bumped out tonight on Tuesdays.
Well, Bill, TP3D penalty report. Some drivers going to the rear of the field tonight is a lot of cars. It's the one. Hold on, let me actually pull that up. The 72 of Bladen Edwards, the 25 of Mason Johnson, the 45 of Jason Warren, the 30 of Jacob Bohm, and the one car of Caleb Hill will go to the rear tonight due to penalties accumulated throughout the season.
That's quite the list. Pretty scary, and Jeff, when the TP3D Designs penalty report is almost as long as the cars that didn't get penalties.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think we're getting set to grid here for tonight's LFOD Motorsports 125 from Five Flags Speedway. 28 drivers coming at you, and Bill, look at that. One of the guys in the championship battle hits the invert, and he's actually your points leader coming into tonight. Going to start on the pole. 8 invert, going to move the 17 of Reagan Parent to the front row alongside last week's winner, the 22 of Blake Thronberg.
Starting the inside of row number 2 in the 45 machine, it is Jason Warren, and to his outside in the number 4, it's the ravishing one, Rick Rue.
Starting 5th tonight will be the 8 of Braxton DeWeese on the outside of him. Going to the rear of the field due to penalty, the 72 of Bladen Edwards.
AJ Rogers is going to roll off P7 in the number 17, and to his outside, it's your Wisconsin Wings and Walleyes Quick Time Award winner tonight in the number 2 machine. That is JJ Chansey.
Starting 9th, the 81, a winner this season in the Challenger Series. That's Hunter Harriet on the outside of him. And the car number 10 will be Brandon Lee.
Starting 11th in the number 12 machine, that is the LFOD Motorsports number 12. That's Tony Quadros, and to his outside in the number 78 machine, that's Cody Bohm.
Starting 13th will be the 31 of Brad Carpenter on the outside of him. And car number 25 tonight, it's Mason Johnson.
I think some of the guys are having a hard time figuring out where they're supposed to be. As many cars going to the back, Jeff. Anyway, starting 15th in the number 24, that is Bryson Brinkley, and to his outside in the number 16. Good qualifying effort for him tonight in the 01, it's Caleb Hill.
Starting 17th will be the 70 of Dylan Canova on the outside of him. And his return to the series, the 30 of Jacob Bohm.
Ricky Howell's going to roll off P19 in the number 20, and to his outside in the number 22, it's Kieran Church.
Starting 21st, your B main winner tonight, the 2 of Todd Cousins on the outside of him. And the 92, it'll be Dylan Schreiner.
Josh Oswald rolls off P17 in the number, P23 in the number 17, and to his outside in the number 12, it's William Griffith.
Starting 25th tonight will be the 38 of Travis Roma on the outside of him, and car number 18 will be Casey Wiggins.
Starting 27th in the number 50 car, it is Craig Tully, and shotgun on the field. Well, I guess the last car to transfer in, Jeff, we saw that battle in the 03. It's Jason Lottridge, but he is not going to start last with all the penalty cars that are behind him.
Yeah, definitely a lot of cars behind them. And then I think CJ Grooms was out on the racetrack there for a pace lap. I think he thought he won the fan vote. No fan vote tonight.
Oh, it's
So
good though. It's pretty good.
CJ gonna bring it back down pit road. Not gonna take part in tonight's race. Well, shout out to Chris DeWeese. I know the Braxton DeWeese fan club's probably on YouTube right now.
I'm over there with him, Jeff.
Josh Parrish in the house cheering for Blake Thronberg. Jeff By in the house cheering for Dylan Schreiner. Is going to be coming from the rear after finishing second in the B main. CJ Groobs in the Facebook chat. He said, "My bad."
We're
just
Jeff,
glad he's having fun. We're glad he's having a good time.
That's the most important thing. And I will say, Jeff, the Braxton DeWeese fan club is very excited about the third place starting position.
Donald Clark in the house. That's the name we haven't seen in a while here. The pace car heads off the racetrack. Here we go. Reagan Parent going to take him green with Blake Throberg on the outside. We are green flag racing for the LFOD Motorsports 125.
First battle on the racetrack is going to be Braxton DeWeese, and he's going to settle that battle quickly. Now Rick Rube going to slide back. Here comes AJ Rogers in the 17. Rube stuck on the outside. Quick time award winner JJ Chansey. He's out there as well in the 2. Those guys got to find the bottom. Usually early. Jeff, we saw last night the top started to work well towards the end of the race.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see the strategy. Some guys went to the back last night, some charged to the front, and it worked for PJ Evans, who won the race. He went straight to the front. He had a fun battle at the top of the field with Josh Cottle and Brett Suggs, but that track position was important. So what's the key tonight? Is it save tires, or is it get to the front and control this race? And right now, Reagan Parent, he's got a mirror full of Blake Throberg, who's really putting pressure on him early.
Well, both seemed to work last night. I felt like both strategies, strategies worked. Cars that fell back could come back forward, and guys that were out front kind of stayed out front. So it was kind of exciting, really good race, but we have a really good battle on the racetrack. Jeff, Hunter Harriet moving his car forward in the 81 machine. He just got underneath AJ Rogers. That's a battle for the 4th position, and he's dragging Brendan Lee with him.
Well, as you said, different strategies last night. Reagan Parent was one of the guys that hung out in the back for a long time, nearly went a lap down at one point, and had to charge his way back to the front. Actually, I think he did go a lap down. So different strategy for him tonight as he starts on the pole. As Braxton DeWeese is in trouble there. Got a little sideways into turn 3, gets a little bump from the 17 at AJ Rogers, but we're still racing.
Braxton DeWeese able to save it. Here comes Tony Quadros in the 12. He'll go by on the bottom. DeWeese going to slot in behind, going to try to drop down in front of Cody Bohm. Looks like he'll be able to do that. That's going to check the field up behind him. Brad Carpenter gets into the back of AJ Rogers, and they crash going into turn number 1. At some point, Jeff, these guys will have to understand when a car drops down in line, that means the guy behind him is going to have to slow down. These guys do not see that for some reason, and Carpenter looked like he got into the back of the 17.
And that just checked up a bunch of cars. William Griffith involved, Jason Lottridge. It looks like Bryson Brinkley got a piece of that. So a lot of cars collected in that one. And as you said, it started right with AJ Rogers in the 31 of Brad Carpenter. It looked like Brad just got in the back of the 17 there, kind of turned him around.
I was going down the back straightaway. I think that we're going to take a look at this on the replay. And that is Brad Carpenter in that 31 car. You will see the 8, and that's just it's just a stack up. I mean, these guys, we've been kind of saying the same thing all season. And the 8 of Braxton DeWeese able to get in line, and he backs off of Tony Quadros. Bohm backs off of him. AJ Rogers having to hit the brakes. And the first car not to hit the brakes is Brad Carpenter. He piles in, and that causes one heck of a pileup going into turn number 3.
Yeah, that's a tough break for AJ Rogers. He was so fast in practice and qualifying tonight. He needed a really good streak here in those last 2 races to make the playoffs, and that is going to be a tough one to overcome there as he's already heavily damaged now. Dylan Schreiner got a piece of that, Dylan Canova. But again, I think the 31, he's racing the 81 there, and I think he's watching the 81 more than he's watching the guys in front of him. And I think he got too ambitious trying to hold on to that spot.
Kieran Church was involved as well. We're going to see if we can look at him. Jeff, take a gander at the laps remaining here. I don't want to end up getting caught where we missed live, but there's a lot to unpack here. A lot of cars involved in this. Kieran Church got sideways. Ricky Howell's there as well. You can see William Griffith. So we go back to Griffith here. He basically got turned around and sat there for a very long time. So you're going to see every car that piled in or caught any bit of damage right here as they came past that yellow 12 car.
Yeah, Ricky Howell took a lot of damage as well. You see Bryson Brinkley on the replay gets into the back of William Griffith there as William checked up.
Jason Lottridge, Jason Warren. Warren ended up underneath. Maybe we'll give you a shot from Jason Warren so you can see how tough it is to go into these wrecks and actually see something. But Jason Warren coming off turn 2. You can see Lottridge right in front of him there in 03. That car's about to end up on our hood.
Well, pace car lights are out, so we got about 1 lap here to watch the replays here. As you saw from the onboard of Jason Warren, just nowhere to go. I mean, that started right up near the front of the field, and that just stacked everybody up as they head down the back straightaway. Reagan Parent, Blake Throneberg, Hunter Harriet, Brendan Lee, your top 4. We'll keep an eye on some of these drivers still out there. I think Dylan Canova still sitting on pit road. Brad Carpenter might be out of this one, so it looks like 26 drivers going to restart here. Pace car off the racetrack. Reagan Parent takes his green flag racing once again.
Reagan Parent with a nice jump. Throneberg in second. He's going to be able to clear everyone. And the first battle on the racetrack is going to be Brendan Lee versus Hunter Harriet. That's going to be a battle for third. Tony Quadros looks on in 5th. Of course, lots of cars side by side early, Jeff. And now we got some contact. JJ Chansey beating and banging there for the 5th position.
That's a Tony Quadros, and those guys right around that that spot for that 8th and final transfer spot. It's held by Kieran Church right now, but Tony Quadros sits 9th, JJ Chansey 10th, and that is going to be an important battle all night long and into the next race.
These guys getting after it right now in the late model stock. Jeff, 125 laps of this racetrack, and we get a green flag run. These guys are going to have to be very careful not to burn up these tires, and they are driving hard at the moment.
Yeah,
you can see the rubber being laid on the racetrack.
We saw it last night. There were certain guys that got tight as the run went on, and now we got a battle for the lead. Blake Throneberg is going for it. Reagan Parent up the racetrack. The 22 going to try to take the top spot. Looks like Reagan not going to battle too hard. He's going to slot back in line behind the 22 of Blake Throneberg. Last week's winners back to the front.
Well, not for long, Jeff. Reagan Parent making the move down into turn number 1. Throneberg up the racetrack, able to defend with the momentum around the top.
These guys going to get single file here as Brendan Lee has now caught this pack. He's brought along Hunter Harriet and Tony Quadros. So this group now, and Reagan Parent is under pressure again. Brendan Lee's going to take a spot. Here comes Hunter Harriet. Now JJ Chansey and Tony Quadros get together. Quadros going to spin, and caution is out lap 17.
Quadros backed her into the wall, but I think the good news is Craig Tully also around on the back straightaway. But I think if Tony doesn't hit anything, that car doesn't have a tremendous amount of damage. Craig Tully might be a little bit worse off in the 50, but let's take a look at that on replay as Quadros got up and backed her into the wall. All clear down the front straightaway on the replay.
It seems like a really late move from JJ Chansey there. I just don't think Tony Quadros is expecting anybody to be to the inside there.
I don't either. I'm watching him follow the cars in front of him. That's kind of where you want to judge the line, right? You decide if a guy's diving the bottom, and he's just running the exact same line that Hunter Harriet ran right in front of him. And JJ just uses a really, really shallow entry. I mean, if you're going to make that move,
you can see JJ tried to get to the apron. I think he realized like there's not going to be enough space here, and he tried to get to the bottom, but it just wasn't enough. That car came back up the racetrack, and around goes Tony Quadros.
What it seemed like he didn't do, Jeff, was use the brake.
Yeah, sometimes that's just a situation where you got to back out of it and live to fight another day.
JJ had been really aggressive getting through the field. He had made contact with Cody Bohm a couple laps prior to that. It looks like Jason Warren spun the 50 car of Craig Tully. Tully then didn't get hit by anyone, so that's good. And that was just a situation of them avoiding the wreck.
We got a little behind on the chat. Dalton here cheering for JJ and Mason. I believe that's Mason Johnson. Corey Bigley in the house cheering for the Revelry and SPM drivers. Fusion Setup Shop here cheering for JJ Chansey. And of course, Josh Parrish was talking about that initial wreck. They called it the parking lot. # parking lot. Is Travis Roma going to get a lap back? He is 1 lap down. We'll be back on the lead lap now.
Blake Throneberg going to continue to lead this race with Brendan Lee now slotted in second, Hunter Harriet third, Reagan Parent fourth. Cody Bohm now finds himself in fifth, jumped up 2 spots because of that incident. Tony Quadros and JJ Chansey to the back. Quadros after getting spun, and JJ Chansey gets sent to the back for the penalty. That moves moves Braxton Deweese up into 6th. Ricky Howell 7th, Casey Wiggins 8th, Kieran Church 9th, and Mason Johnson running 10th. Mason Johnson gave us a number change, Jeff, and that's not fair.
Yeah, that is confusing, but he did check with us, and we did officially change his number from 7 to 25. But
got it.
Definitely throws us off a little bit when we're looking for who's that 25 guy?
Yeah.
When we go back, Green Flag Racing, Blake Thronberg out front.
Thronberg gonna clear. Hunter Harriet, Reagan Parent, they're gonna battle for that 3rd position. Cody Boehm right behind them in the 78. Ricky Howell looking underneath Braxton Deweese.
Ricky Howell got a lot of damage in that first incident, but the car's still running good as he challenges Braxton Deweese here inside the top 5. I believe that's a battle for 6th on the racetrack.
That Reagan Parent, Hunter Harriet battle continues for 3rd. Reagan Parent doing a nice job on the top side. We saw this last night. We heard that this car was geared a little bit differently than you would see some of the fastest and craziest fastest setups here. But that actually makes that outside work. Gives you some good side-by-side racing. So kudos again to Daniel Pope for making this happen as Reagan Parent continuing to work the top, and now Hunter Harriet starting to gain the advantage on the bottom.
Reagan going to try to get down, and it looks like Cody Boehm is going to give him some room there. You can see the 78 kind of back off. He's in no hurry right now. Might just be in tire saving mode. He might like that 5th spot. He gets started on the inside. The next caution, Reagan Parent's going to go right back at the 81, and now they're going to make contact. Hunter Harriet's possibly going to go around, and he's going to collect a bunch of cars. I see Braxton Deweese, Ricky Howell is involved. Looks like AJ Rogers involved again. Just a more trouble for a bunch of cars right in that points battle for the 8th and final playoff spot.
That looked very similar to what we just saw. We'll have to check it though, Jeff. It looked like another really late move into 1. Guys arcing the corner going into 1 leaves that door open. Guys are going to stick their nose in there, and if you're going to arc back down, I mean, we called it last time that guys were just running that line.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. The 81 left him the room on the bottom, and they were about mid-corner, and it was working. And it's almost like the 17, the front end kind of washed away, and he starts to come up the racetrack, but he's not up much.
We're going to take a look at it on the replay.
This might be a good one for the Steiner Motorsports chopper cam, because this is going to be a hard one to dissect here, I think.
Well, he jumps off that white line. We can see that. Let's take a look at it from a couple different angles here. He's on the white line, and then the car just comes off the white line. That's playing with fire right there. I just feel like that. We'll go to that Stinger Motorsports chopper cam, see what we can see. I mean, Reagan just comes up off the bottom. I don't know. I'm trying to look at the cars ahead of him to see what the expectation is here. It's just playing with fire, man. Hunter Harriet gave him room, but man, if it's a car width, it's barely a car width. It's that late move into 1, Jeff. I don't love it, but he's there for quite a while. I do think Hunter's got to get up off the bottom a little bit there. That's a lot of wrecked cars here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I collected a lot of cars. Ricky Howell, Braxton Deweese, Kieran Church, I think, might be done for the night. Mason Johnson involved, AJ Rogers. Again, a lot of cars right around the top 10 in points, and these are guys that are fighting for a championship spot, and they needed good runs tonight. AJ Rogers was one of those ones that we were like, he's got an outside chance, but they got to be good 2 final races, and unfortunately for him, it started off terribly so far.
Yeah, I think Reagan has to hold the bottom there, Jeff. That's tough, man. That's really tight because Hunter didn't slam the door. He kind of left him room down there, but then you kind of just have to hold your nose down there. You can't just say, hey, I'm going to pass this guy, and regardless if it slides up. You know what I mean? Yeah,
definitely. Once you're down there, it's your responsibility to keep it off of them. But again, the 81 could have gave a little bit more room too. It's a tough call, but both of them are going to go to the rear of the field as we get set to go back to Green Flag Racing lap 31 restart for the 22 of Blake Thronberg.
That 25 car, Mason Johnson, he's got a bunch of damage on that car, but he stayed out, didn't repair anything, still running in that 5th spot. He's got it rolling right now as he clears Josh Oswald. Shout out to Josh Oswald, comes out of the B main. He's all the way up to 6th.
Yeah, look at Casey Wiggins as well. He is up to the 4th spot. He started 26th tonight, and he has missed everything that's happened in front of him from the get-go. And now we got trouble off turn 4 again. I saw a car going up towards the outside wall. That is a black car.
Hunter Harriet.
Was it Hunter Harriet? Yeah, Hunter Harriet involved again.
See what happened to him. He was on the outside of Rick Brood going down the back straightaway.
And he gets together with Jason Mottridge.
Oh, that's going to be in need of a better camera angle. That might be another chopper cam situation.
Yeah, I think so, but to me, it looks like the 03 really dove it in there late, and he enters the corner very high. Looks like Hunter was giving him quite a bit of room.
Really, really flat entry from the 3. That's weird. When the 3 makes contact, his car lurches down, and it looks like he's in a good line. Judging by other cars, I mean, you can see that JJ Chansey's really tight to a door as well, right in front of this group.
Ricky Howell involved in. Tony Quadros got a piece of that one.
I feel like Lottridge needs to be just a tick lower, but somebody needs to tell Hunter Harriet he doesn't have to pinch these guys to run with them.
Yeah, that is kind of killing him right now. I mean, you're giving up the bottom, but you're not leaving enough room for a full car. And it's putting himself in a bad spot. That's twice now he's been wrecked, and it's the guy's responsibility to keep it off of you, but you're getting wrecked here.
Yeah, it's the second wreck in a row that if the guy makes any kind of slip up on the bottom, it's ball game. And Hunter's been wrecked twice, and apparently Hunter didn't watch the race last night. You did not need to pinch at all. Cars were running. Yeah,
the outside line
2.5 lanes up.
Yeah, the outside line here can get huge runs, and it seems like these guys are so concerned about getting to the bottom, but just roll the top. It's there.
Well, that's the old super late model tendency, right? You had to be right on the door and keep it as tight as possible. This car does not work like that. This car runs with a little bit of yaw. The rear end sticks out just a little bit, and if you get that close to a driver, you're going to crash. And unfortunately, Hunter Harriet has found that happen twice, but especially at this racetrack with this setup and this car, the last night those cars were able to fan out all over the racetrack and make moves. So again, if somebody can get a hold of Hunter, tell him he does not need to pitch, honestly.
Well, some cars out of this race, Dylan Canova, Brad Carpenter have called it. Actually, Brad Carpenter's back on the racetrack. He's 21 laps down. Going to try to pass a car here. His Kiernan Church is officially out of this one. So Kiernan will end up 26. Braxton DeWeese is 1 lap down, along with Ricky Howell.
Points racing.
Yeah, we are going to go to single file restart because they did not complete 5 laps there on that last one.
I used to be a points racer, Jeff, even if I had a wrecked race car. A lot of these guys will just leave.
Yeah, sometimes you just got to get what you can get. And
that's right.
You'd be surprised. We've seen guys just ride around, wait it out, and come back with the top 10. I mean, sometimes you can just rally. As we go back to green flag racing, Blake Throneberg going to send us green, and these guys are stacking up already. A slow restart there.
Well, what actually happened was Brendan Arlee in about the middle of 3 and 4 ran into the 22, which you know what happens there. Everybody sees the car in front of them lurch a little bit, and they go.
We got some battling going on early as JJ Chansey makes the move down inside the 50 of Craig Tolley. JJ, your quick qualifier tonight, trying to get back to the front after getting sent to the rear due to a caution caused. And now he's going to get into William Griffith, and the 12 is going to go around. And that was not good. Caution going to wave here on lap 41.
I hate to make that call before I see it, but that looks very similar to the first time we saw JJ
Chansey. Almost identical situation to what happened with Tony Quadros, the 2. I mean, he's about half a car length back.
That was much earlier. Much earlier in the corner than I think he got Quadros.
Yeah, he tried to dive it to the front, down to the inside, and the 12 is already there.
I mean, that's the line. That's the line everybody is running. They're running an outside entry. And you just can't shove it in there. That's what. Okay, that is what's known as a dive bomb.
Yeah, it's too late. You got to be alongside the guy before you get to corner entry to try to make a move like that. It leaves no time for the guy going into the corner to react to you being there.
Unfortunately, William Griffin Baxter into the fence hard in that number 12. Hopefully no damage to the rear suspension. Should be good to go. Not a whole lot of repair probably needed.
Well, but this is a lot different race than we saw last night. Last night was huge green flag runs, and tire strategy was really important. And tonight, these guys that got to the front early, Reagan Parent, who gave up some track position, ends up kind of maybe burning him here because now he's towards the back of the field and he's got tires saved up, but so does everybody else.
I think what we're seeing, Jeff, is just a lack of patience tonight. The last 4 yellows that we've seen, or yes, I think it is the last 4 yellows we've seen. It's just racing that is just too close, not needed. 40 laps into it. At this point, we're 40 laps into a 125 lap race, 44 laps. But I mean, it was on lap 40, right? So everybody gets what I'm trying to say. But just not needed so early. Just drive up the racetrack, let the guy battle you. You can battle on the high side. You've seen that. Reagan Parent's been making moves up top. And just not needed. Just patience, guys. Just figure out, get yourself on the racetrack and stop trying to pinch everybody. Stop dive bombing everybody and let the race unfold.
Yeah, and it's a weird situation compared to what we saw last week at South Boston. I mean, these guys went, 60, 70 laps green flag at South Boston? So just a totally different ballgame tonight. Tonight, everybody's just been throwing the haymakers since the start.
Unfortunately, it seems like all of the series go up and down. The late model shootout series, not so good 2 weeks in a row prior to this week, and then this week had a fantastic race last night. The late model Challenger series had 2 good weeks 2 weeks in a row, and then now tonight, not able to find their patience here at Five Flags.
But Cody Kelly in the house cheering for Mason Johnson. Tap outs and touchdowns here. Part of the Ravishing Ones Rick Rube's fan club. Del Mears in the house as the pace car heads off the racetrack for Blake Thronberg, Brandon Lee, Cody Boehm, Casey Wiggins, Mason Johnson back up there in the 6th spot as we go green. And these guys are, again, kind of a stack up on the restart. And these guys are starting to throw some blocks here because trying to be defensive.
Mason Johnson got into the back of Casey Wiggins down the front straightaway. That was on the restart. Made contact before they got to the start-finish line.
See one driver on the move. That is Jason Warren getting around Craig Tolley. Tolley's going to move up out of the way, let him go. Get back down in front of Rick Rube. That is a battle for the 10th position. Jason Warren just took that spot.
Oh, Reagan Parent is around, and I believe Hunter Harriet made contact, so Hunter Harriet involved. In the last 5 cautions, Jeff, it's either been J.J. Chansey or Hunter Harriet involved. I'm trying to figure out how this one began, but I believe Reagan Parent was the non-beneficiary?
Yeah, looked like
victim?
Looked like Hunter just got in the back of the 17 mid-corner, and then Hunter buries it in the pit wall, and that is going to end his night. He is done for the evening.
Now that is a, wow, just C-car, don't hit car situation. Was that the 3rd yellow on the 81 machine?
Well, he never actually been
charged
with the yellow.
Okay with him, but he was just involved. Oh, I think that was probably a payback from a previous yellow is what I'm guessing.
Yeah, I'm wondering if that might have been, and it might have been some frustration boiling over there for Hunter Harriet.
I mean, I think Reagan Parent stole his Legos on that previous caution, so he was very upset. But you can see there's an interesting shot as Hunter Harriet got into that inside. You can see the advanced damage model on this late model stock here on iRacing. Watch the right front of the 81 car when he catches this tire. You can just look at it wobble. It is broken. You can see the smoke coming out of the 81. That car was done for the evening. I guess if you want to go out, Jeff, go out in a blaze of glory.
I guess.
A blaze of infamy.
Tough night for Hunter Harriet. And makes it tougher there with that one.
Drive it into the tire. That's what we all say. Actually, I don't think I say that. Thank goodness that tire's there, Jeff. Unfortunately, here on iRacing, that tire is just as hard as any concrete you'll find. And it will do just as much damage to your race car and end your evening. Wonder how hard that tire is in real life.
I would imagine it's not soft. I think the concern would be more, is that tire going to launch you in the air when you hit it?
Yeah, that looks like it would not be fun to hit that tire.
I'm sure there's got to be video out there on YouTube somewhere. Somebody should find a Five Flag Speedway what happens when you hit the tire there video.
Can we get some styrofoam or something in front of that tire? It just seems really hard.
I don't know if you've ever seen videos of the Snowball Derby here, but those super late models are absolutely hauling the mail at this racetrack.
Yeah, this place is really, really fast for the super. And it's actually almost prettier here on iRacing. And for some reason, I don't know if you've noticed, Jeff, there's a grandstand going into turn number 1. And here on iRacing, we don't sell tickets for that grandstand. I'm not sure why they decided not to fill it. The lights are out on the pace car. We're done filling time, Jeff. We get to see some racing now.
Yeah, let's go. Blake Throneberg out front with Brendan Lee, Cody Bohm, Casey Wiggins, and Mason Johnson. As we go back to Green Flag Racing, the LFOD Motorsports 125. A little bit better restart that time, but Brendan Lee lost some ground there to Blake Throneberg right off the bat. Casey Wiggins going to put the pressure to Cody Bohm early on, but the top 5 going to stay single file, mostly single file throughout the field. See further back, looks like JJ Chansey on the move as he goes around William Griffith. Reagan Parent going to make the move as well. Dylan Schreiner and Rick Rube battling for the 12th position.
They're side by side through 3 and 4. Dylan Schreiner to the inside of that U.S. Air Force machine. Rick Rube going to let him go for the moment. Another battle on the racetrack. Caleb Hill, Jacob Bohm. Oh, they almost made contact on the back straightaway. Jacob smart enough to back out of it, but that might cost him a spot as here comes Jason Warren in the 45.
Yeah, Jason was there, but 30 kind of chopped down on him. Jason had to take evasive action there. Now he's going to chop him there into turn 1. So Jacob Bohm holds on to the 9th position. Jason Warren 10th. Here comes Craig Tolley and Dylan Schreiner behind them.
Tony Quadros and Jason Lottridge battling for a position on the racetrack. That's a battle for 14th. Lottridge up the racetrack. They almost made contact on the front straightaway and almost made contact down into turn 1. Quadros had gotten backwards and back into the wall earlier in this race, but no damage on the front of that 12, so he's moving forward with a good car.
Still some good single file racing right now as they've finally gotten some green flag laps in here.
Throneberg is under fire from Brendan R. Lee for that top spot. Jeff Brendan all over the back bumper, the number 22, as they start to catch the other number 22. That's Kieran Church. He's got a really damaged race car. He's going to take it right to the bottom of Brendan R. Lee. He's going to look to the outside through 1 and 2, trying to figure out a way around Throneberg.
Yeah, we thought Kieran was out of this race, but he came back after doing some repairs and going to try to limp along and pick up some spots, some more attrition ahead of him. Plus, Brad Carpenter had came out and passed him, so Kieran Church is thinking points, going to get back out on the racetrack. He was in the 8th and final playoff spot coming into the night, so important race tonight for him is Blake Throneberg out front, but Brendan Lee is trying to find a way around him. He is starting to set him up, Bill. He's going to the outside, trying to cross him over. Here he goes into turn 1. Brendan Lee looking for the lead.
Ooh, almost contact on the back straightaway. Brendan Lee got right to that left rear, very close through 3 and 4. Again, guys, don't need to pinch this car, but they do.
Well, that time by Throneberg still led, but Brendan Lee has got position on him now to the inside, starting to inch ahead this time off turn 4. He should lead a lap. And we have a new leader, lap 65, as they cross the line.
Throneberg didn't give up, though, down the front straightaway. Was able to get a little bit of momentum, but now Brendan Lee going to make that pass, and he gets really sideways off of 2. Throneberg going to back off and not try to do anything with him. And it looks like Tony Quadros is having an issue in the 12. See, it's backwards again, and this time damage on the front end of that green and white machine. Trying to figure out what happened to him.
Looks like he got together with JJ Chansey, an almost identical situation again.
take a look and see what happened. Down the front straightaway, J.J. Chansey going to make that late move down into turn number 1, and that's the second time J.J. Chansey has spun out the number 12 car through 1 and 2. Hey, there's a definition called if you try something over and over again.
I believe that's insanity.
Insanity.
And JJ's driving us insane.
You know what they say, if at first you don't succeed, try again. And this time, Quadros, as he spun, Jason Warren tried to avoid, couldn't avoid the front end of the 12 car, so you can see the damage to the splitter on that 12. But here it is. Quadros running that line that Rick Rube's running, and JJ into the left rear as they enter turn number 1. JJ still hasn't gotten the memo that is the entry into one that every single car on the racetrack is taking. And if you're not alongside down the front straightaway, you can't make that move. You know what they say, Jeff? He was trying to take a chancey into one.
Oh, that was a bad joke.
Bad? Okay.
Well, JJ, that's his third caution, so he's going to be asked to park it. He's going to head down pit road. That's going to be a big hit for the 2 machine tonight. Came in tonight 10th in points, has starting to have some good runs, and you need another one tonight. Not going to get the one he needs.
Dylan Canova. Other than the Braxton Louise fan club, Jeff, they do talk a lot. I don't actually read every, but Mike Orth has given us a lot of feedback. I appreciate that, Mike. Basically telling us we're making all the right calls, Jeff, is what Mike Orth has been saying. But Dylan Canova over here saying, well, my return to the Challenger Series did not go as planned. Laugh out loud. No, Dylan, it did not. Dylan caught in a wreck early.
I believe Dylan was on Facebook too. He said that was a fun 6 laps.
Some days it's your day, some days it's not.
We like making the right calls, but Bill, you know what's more fun? When we don't have to make any calls at all.
That's my favorite.
When they just 100%. Go racing.
So we are working lap 69 of 125. Now make that 70 of 125.
Pace car lights are out, so they're going to double them up. It looks like Tony Quadros and Ricky Howell going to get off pit road, stay on the lead lap there.
Mason Johnson still with that damaged number 25 machine. A lot of damage on the left side of that car, but he has been able to hang around here in the top 5. Especially with that new paint scheme and new number. Not recognizable.
There we go. Brandon Lee, Blake Thronberg now. Lee going to take him a little bit earlier this time, and he caught Thronberg off guard. That's going to allow Cody Boehm to pull alongside the 78 machine.
Cody Boehm trying to get to the bottom. Thronberg up top. Can Thronberg get the momentum? He will down the back straightaway. He will clear Boehm down into turn 3, and Boehm backs off and gives him that spot. Battle on the racetrack. Casey Wiggins trying to get down in front of Todd Cousins. He will do so. Now Wiggins trying to get under Mason Johnson. Can't do it going into turn 1.
Yeah, shout out to Todd Cousins, your B main winner, went 21st to 6th so far. Casey Wiggins up to 5th from 26th position. So some of these guys that have kept their nose clean from the back of the field having fantastic runs. Here comes Josh Oswald looking underneath Todd Cousins. The 17 machine is on the move.
Josh Oswald trying to make the move. Dylan Schreiner just made a move around Caleb Hill. Caleb Hill back to that 10th spot. Dylan Schreiner up to 9th. Oswald gets the door slammed on him to 3 and 4. Cousins said no. So Oswald going to slide back to that position. He's running in 7th. Now Jacob Boehm started to take a look. These guys all trying to find the door.
Drake Tolley and AJ Rogers having a fun battle back there for about the 14th, 13th position. And AJ just took over that spot. Craig Tolley now under pressure from Bryson Brinkley in the 24. I think that's the younger brother of Blaze Brinkley who we see on Monday nights.
One thing I've noticed with this late model Challenger Series group, Jeff, is that last night we saw the shootout guys almost spread out almost immediately. A bunch of guys dropping off the field. Some guys, even when we've gotten green flag racing on this race, they all stick together.
Yeah, there is no separation at all in this field. I mean, they are all piled on top of each other. As Brendan Lee leads this one, Blake Thronberg, Cody Boehm right on his tail. They've started to separate a bit from Casey Wiggins, who runs 4th, Mason Johnson 5th, Todd Cousins. He's still under pressure from Josh Oswald, and Oswald is again going to take a look underneath the two, going into turn 3, thinks better of it, backs off for the time being. Mostly single file throughout your field. We're trying to look for a race on the racetrack.
Bryson Brinkley was able to make the move on AJ Rogers. That was for the 14th spot.
AJ was able to get down in front of Reagan Parent, the other 17 machine. Craig Tolley had lost a spot to Reagan Parent that last time by.
Guy we haven't mentioned all night long, Jeff, the 72 car. As I say that, he makes a move on Jason Warren. That's going to be a battle for the 11th position. Now here's a guy in that 72 car, two-time winner this season. Ooh, and almost contact between Jason Warren and Rick Rube as they went down the front straightaway. Rick Rube able to take that spot. That's going to be a battle for 12th. We're talking about Bladen Edwards, Jeff. He waited out back early in this race and saved tires in that 72. Now he's on the move as he's moved his way up to the 11th position. He's actually digging and starting to close down on that top 10.
Yeah, Bladen doing a little something different than he did last week where he used up tire early out front and then had nothing left at the end. Now he's trying to make a late charge as Josh Oswald and Todd Cousins again battling hard off turn 4. Josh Oswald's car just not able to get the run on Todd Cousins. Bill, you talked about it. If you get up high on this racetrack, you can get massive runs down the straightaway. That's what Todd Cousins is doing. He doesn't need to pinch the 17. Look where he's running and look how fast it is up there.
Yeah, the closest they get is right here through 3 and 4. Really tight racing. Oswald going to get a little sideways in there. Todd Cousins able to clear him once again. Down into turn number 1. Oswald with a really shallow entry. Got off the gas. Rolled the center. Now he's going to try to make the move again. He can't do it down the back straightaway. And he's going to look to the bottom again through 3 and 4.
And it's starting to stack up the guys behind him because Jacob Bohm, Dylan Schreiner, Caleb Hill, and Bladen Edwards have all caught this pack now. So Todd Cousins, he needs to try to get back around this 17 as Josh Oswald might have him cleared. Nope. Todd Cousins going to fight back again. That wide arc and huge run down the back straightaway.
That's where you got to be careful right there as you pinch. You get right on the right rear of that car right next to you. Todd Cousins really close to the 17 to Josh Oswald, but they continue that battle side by side. Shout out to Jacob Bowman. That 30 car had a kind of a disastrous race we ran at the Las Vegas Bull Ring, right, Jeff? Really didn't have a good night. Tonight, into the top 10 as he's running 8th.
Yeah, he was part of that TP3D penalty report. In his first race in the series, he got a 1-race suspension. So it wasn't a good night for Jacob Bowman, but he's answering the call. He came back. He asked us, what did I do wrong? We kind of told him, you're just a little over aggressive. He comes back and look at the run he's having. He's up in the top 10. And what I heard is he's a pretty new guy to iRacing, a real life racer from South Carolina. Now he's going to get collected with the 2-car. Dylan Schreiner going to try to take advantage here as Todd Cousins getting used up just a bit there, 3 wide.
Now Bohm's going to be the outside of Dylan Schreiner in the 92. Bohm in the 30. Here comes Caleb Hill in the 01 as he's fighting back as well. Give a shout out to Caleb Hill as having a great night in that 01 car. I think he qualified P16. Now he's running inside the top 10.
Yeah, it's good to see. And here comes Bladen Edwards. He's going to get underneath Todd Cousins. Jacob Bohm is up the racetrack now. Can Bladen Edwards get there? Todd Cousins might be stuck in line behind the 30 machine. Jacob's going to try to get to the bottom. He does get clear, but that's going to stack up Rick Rube, AJ Rogers, Reagan Parent. Caution is out.
Cars pile in. I think Braxton DeWeese got caught in that one as well. You can see Reagan Parent is caught in it, William Griffith. And now we're just playing bumper cars here on the front straightaway as Reagan Parent tries to spin his number 17 around, but we're going to take a look at the replay and see how that started. Just a lot of cars way too close together got stacked up. Finally had some good racing there, Jeff, and then there was just a stack up with that battle that we were basically watching. They came off of turn 4. Jacob Bohm just got caught a little bit by Bladen Edwards. Bladen Edwards slowed down to try to avoid it, and that kind of caught Rick Rube out. Rick Rube really couldn't do anything. He dove to the bottom. I think Bohm thought he was clear. I mean, that's a racing deal right there, in my opinion. You saw Braxton we scoot through the middle, but was hit from behind. I'll take a look at that one from the chopper cam. Jeff, that one's going to give us the best look. The Stinger Motorsports chopper cam.
It is tight, but I just feel like Bladen is there.
Is he there down the front straightaway? That's the question. I mean, he was. But that's not really the race. I mean, it's unfortunate because it's just the Bladen having to stack up. He stacks the brakes getting down into turn number 1, and Rick doesn't really slow down.
Yeah, as we know, it's so hard to see what's happening in front of you with the spoilers on these cars. So once Bladen has to check up like that, there's no indication from the guys behind them that anything's going wrong. There's no smoke or anything. It's just one car slowing way down.
We're going to ride with Rick Rube. love what I see from the 81 car. I just feel like he goes to the corner, he sees the 72 have a little bit of an issue, and he drives it to the inside. I don't know what the brakes do when you hit these cars, but Rick avoided them.
Well, these guys did have a long green flag run that's going to get us back to a double file restart this time.
One last look at this from turn number 1. Ugh. Heartbreak for some of those cars that we were just talking about having good runs.
Yeah, they were right in the mix there. Todd Cousins able to luckily survive, but you saw Bryson Brinkley get out of the way of that one. Dylan Canova is in the Facebook chat, and he was saying it's so hard to pass with these cars here because the speeds are so high, and everybody's so equal. And he was saying you have to pounce on any small mistake, but sometimes it's risk reward, right? We've been drilling into these guys' head all season long. You got to pounce on a mistake, but if you end up sending yourself to the rear, you just make the night harder on yourself. As we get set to go back to green flag racing, lap 94 restart for Brendan Lee. Blake Thronberg on the outside, Cody Boehm, Casey Wiggins in that second row. Brendan Lee is clear. And Cody Boehm trying to get around the 22 of Blake Thronberg, but you saw the run again from the outside. Thronberg able to clear Cody Boehm. Now the battle is on for 4th. That's Mason Johnson in the 25. The 18 of Casey Wiggins on the top side. Trouble for the 24. He saves it. Bryson Brinkley, a heck of a save down the front straightaway.
I think we still had issues in the back, Jeff. Behind that, Travis Roma is around on the front straightaway. Bryson Brinkley, what a save through 3 and 4. And I'm not sure if that caused a stack up, but he wheeled that car through 3 and 4, was able to keep it straight. Yeah, that happened right in front of Travis Roma. So let's take a look and see. You're going to see that 24 car gets caught by the 72. And then Tully turns his teammate. Probably not something that Tully could see, but I think that was started by Bladen Edwards getting in the back of Bryson Brinkley. And Roma had to stack the brakes to try not to hit him. We're going to watch that again from the chopper cam here. Watch that 72 just gets into the back of the 24, Jeff, and turns him sideways, and everybody basically wrecks, avoiding him. Lottridge, Brinkley's, DeWeese is involved.
Yeah, we are going to go quickie yellow here, so a single car incident for Travis Roma. As you said, it just kind of a racing deal there, as nobody could react to the stack up happening on the front straightaway, but a heck of a save there for the 24, Bryson Brinkley. Unfortunately, Travis kind of the victim there. But we're going to try to keep this race moving along. It will set up a single file restart for the 10 of Brendan Lee. And Brad Carpenter going to get a lucky dog, be back on the lead. Well, not actually on the lead lap. He's 18 laps down, but he's still making laps out there for Brad Carpenter.
Still a lot of cars on the racetrack.
Yeah, you said it. 23 still on the lead lap. Travis Roma going to rejoin at the rear of the field. I believe pace car lights are out as they head down the back straightaway, single file. And I haven't said it all week, and I totally forgot, and I apologize. The Brett Suggs Racing and Marketing Restart Zone, BSRM Restart Zone coming up for Brendan Lee. He is off and away, and that might have caught Blake Thronberg off guard a little bit, because Blake is about 3 car lanes behind Brendan Lee at the start-finish line as we hit 26 laps to go. Brendan Lee out front of Blake Thronberg. Some battling going on around the about 8th position. I think it's Todd Cousins and Bryson Brinkley make that 9th position as Todd Cousins again on that outside line under fire from the 24.
They'll continue to battle side by side. Ooh, really, really tight through 3 and 4. Maybe a little contact made right behind them. Looks like Bladen Edwards, he's right there in the 72 as well. Those two cars continue to battle side by side. Bladen Edwards trying to figure out who's going to make the move and who's going to get past the other guy.
Some racing going on in front of them is Dylan Schreiner and 25.
Trouble, Jeff. Trouble, Jeff. Bladen Edwards around on the front straightaway. Contact was made between Brinkley and Cousins coming off of 4. And Bladen Edwards jumped on the brakes to avoid the wreck, and Craig Tully couldn't see it and turned the 72 into the wall.
Well, Bryson Brinkley and the 2 got together. That's what stacked up the 72. He had to get on the brakes because Bryson is dead sideways. And to me, that almost looks like the 2 kind of drove down the racetrack there on exit. Might be another one for the Steiner Motorsports chopper cam.
We'll take a look at that one to see if that was a cause. We can find Cousins here. Watch the 2 here. Ah, it's tough. It's that part. It's that funnel. The funnel of turn 4. I think they kind of meet in the middle, Jeff. Looks like the 24 is walking up a little bit because you've got Blade Edwards right behind him running the bottom. The 24 is crossing lanes just a little bit. We're going to give you a shot if we can from Craig Tully's view and show you how hard it is to miss these situations as you've got that battle happening right in front of you. All you can see is that 72 car. And then he stops.
And as we said, no indication at all that there's smoke, that anything's going on. And if you don't get a sign that you're going to just stop coming off the corner, it's hard to make that reaction. I mean, at that point, Craig is full throttle. And once the car in front of him has to check up, it's just, there's no time to react there. Well, Brandon Lee has been out front. Blake Throneberg, last week's winner, still in the running here with Cody Bohm. Casey Wiggins, Mason Johnson, your top 5. Dylan Schreiner started 22nd. He is up to 6th. Josh Oswald started 23rd. He is up to 7th. Caleb Hill runs 8th. Bryson Brinkley 9th. Braxton DeWeese 10th. Jason Warren 11th. AJ Rogers, Tony Quadros, Ricky Howell, and Jacob Bohm, your top 15. Reagan Parent, your points leader, runs 16th with Rick Rue, Bladen Edwards, William Griffith, Craig Tolley, your top 20. Jason Lontridge, Travis Roma, Todd Cousins, your 23 drivers on the lead lap. You think we should see the pace car lights go out this time as they're going to double them up. Brandon Lee, Blake Throneberg, Cody Bohm, Casey Wiggins. As I take that back, it should be a single file restart. There we go, single file restart for Brandon Lee. We are off and away, green flag racing in the LFOD Motorsports 125. And another fantastic start for Brandon Lee. He is out 2, 3, 4 car lengths on Blake Throneberg. Cody Bohm in the 3rd spot.
Single file throughout your top 5. Nobody able to make the move on that single file restart.
Blake Throneberg is reeling back in Brandon Lee. Every time on these restarts, Brandon Lee gets away. Blake Throneberg's just a little bit quicker, and he just runs out of time as the caution waves again. It's the same situation. As soon as Blake gets there, the caution waves. And this one started, I think, with Braxton DeWeese.
I think he got... I think
Jason
Warren tried to make the move. I think Braxton shuts the door on him. Down the front straightaway, I think Jason got a run off of 4. Braxton's got a beat up number 8 car this week.
And Jackson, it looked like Bryson is in the wall ahead of them. And Braxton makes the move to go underneath the 24. At the same time, the 45 is trying to go underneath him.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. That's the 20. They were basically avoiding the 24 car. Man, does the 24 car hit the wall? We can show you that one. He absolutely smashes the wall down the front straight. Oh, we got the apron through 3 and 4. And now Braxton DeWeese does a he does a fantastic job of saving this race car. Watch this going down in turn 1. See, catch right on the left rear. Braxton is completely sideways. And able to hold on to it, Jeff. That's a tough one. I don't really think that's any. I mean, they're avoiding that 24 car.
Yeah, and since it's a racing deal, they're going to both keep their spots. Nobody going to be to blame for that one. It really was the 24 being off the pace that kind of set that up. But Braxton, he made that move at the same time Jason's thinking, hey, I got to run on the 8. And they just kind of end up 3 wide down there into turn 1. That's not going to work.
So, Jeff, I'm pretty sure that we're not going to have many entries in the SDI Ireland Cancer Research Fund Clean Driver Award tonight.
Well, it's been good for some of these guys out front. Brandon Lee out front. It hasn't really had much trouble. Blake Throberg, Cody Boehm, and maybe Casey Wiggins, who's come from 26th to 4th. It hasn't really been involved in anything. I know Mason Johnson's got some heavy damage on the nose of that car, but I think there might be a few candidates tonight. Get the Adobe Mountain Speedway Hard Charger Award, $5 if the driver gains the most spots. Right now, that is Casey Wiggins. But we're going to see a restart here with 10 to go. Single file restart because they did not complete 5 laps again. And I think Throberg, he's got to get a better restart this time. He can't afford to fall that far back behind Brandon Lee and have to chase him down, not with just 10 to go when they cross the line. Brandon Lee again off and away, and Throberg, he started so far back from the 10, even by the time he reacted, the 10's already gone. And now he's going to have to get up on the wheel and try to chase him down.
Yeah, already a 0.3 of a second lead, and he does gain a little bit through 3 and 4. Actually picked up about a 0.5 tenth there, Jeff. Throberg trying to run down Brandon Lee for this win.
Yeah, and you can see it. Throberg was much quicker, especially through the center of 1 and 2, and he gained a ton of time. 1/10 of a second faster last time. He's going to gain all that 0.3 of a second lead back here, and he is all over the 110. So Brandon Lee out front. Blake Throberg has caught him. Can he find a way around Brandon Lee for the win?
There are races happening on the racetrack just a little bit farther back. You have some cars side by side. Braxton DeWeese, Clayton Edwards, they're going to battle. That's a battle for the 15th spot.
Well, Brandon Lee got loose last time off turn 2, and Throberg took a look to the outside. Brandon Lee was very defensive. Once he got loose, he pulled that car to the inside line and said if Throberg wants a shot, he's going to have to take it to the outside. And Throberg thought better of it for the time being, but time is running out. I think if Brandon opens the door, he might just try to go to the outside here.
Yeah, Brandon just has to be perfect here with less than 5 laps remaining. Throberg doesn't seem to have the speed on the top side to be able to just drive around him, so he's going to have to hope for the 10 to make a mistake, or he's going to have to use the bumper. He's going to have to make that decision.
And the caution waves. Trouble off turn 2. Reagan Parent, Rick Rube involved.
Oh, and now Lottridge is involved as well as he gets spun by Reagan Parent, who was coming back up to speed. Now Lottridge might be stuck on the bottom as he comes out in front of your leaders and then puts it in the outside wall. Rick Rube spinning around in front of the leaders as well. Try to see what happened to the 81 car. Oh, and it happened in front of Reagan Parent and Rick Rube. It was Jacob Boehm that got, I believe, hit by Ricky Howe, but that might have been Ricky Howe being able to make the move here. So they were side by side down the front straightaway. No, it wasn't Ricky Howe. It was Blade Edwards. Ricky Howe was making a move on Bryson Brinkley, so my apologies, Ricky. That was not you at all making that contact. But Boehm... Well, that's another one of those turn 1 entry situations. And I think Boehm tried to give him the room once he saw the dive. We're going to go to the chopper cam of this one to see if we can see Blade not there at all, and then dives to the bottom right as they enter the corner, and I think we might have gotten some net code there. Yeah, there's a little bit of net code between the 72 and the 30. I think Boehm did a pretty good job not diving all the way to the bottom.
Yeah, as you said, Jacob realized what was about to happen and tried to get back up the racetrack there. But same move that we saw a couple times tonight that hasn't worked. And it's if you're behind the guy down the straightaway, you can't just pull out and go for it in turn one. It's just not going to stick down there. And unfortunately,
so with this will be a green-white checkered, Jeff. I think it's probably going to put us in overtime.
Yeah, it is. Green-white checkered finish here, and they did complete 5 laps there in that last run, so they will go double file for this first green-white checkered of 3 if needed.
Set your field. Brendan Lee going to lead. Blake Thronberg second. Cody Boehm third. Casey Wiggins fourth. Mason Johnson fifth. Dylan Schreiner sixth. Josh Oswald seventh. Caleb Hill eighth. Jason Warren ninth. And Tony Quadros has worked his way back into the top 10. Remember, all we have to do is get back to the white flag, and then nothing matters except the running order when they get back to the flag again. And any kind of protest that might happen if somebody wrecks you on the last lap.
Yeah. Well, pace car's going to head off the racetrack this time. Blake Throberg on the outside of the 10. Can he have anything for Brendan Lee? He's going to need to get down and clear. This might be the best restart Throberg has had, but he doesn't have much time on the green-white checkered. Does he have a way to get around Brendan Lee?
Nah, he has to get there right now. Cody Boehm's there as well in the 78 car. He's got Mason Johnson on his back bumper. As Casey Wiggins started to take a look, trying to pass for fourth. Here comes Thronberg. Thronberg gets some run down the front straightaway. Will he be able to hold it going down into the corner?
They are there. He is there to the inside, door to door off turn 2. Brandon Lee's got inches ahead of Blake Thronberg, but can he hold it through 3 and 4? Thronberg gets a little loose. The 10 might have the run down the straightaway. At the line, it is a photo finish. We're going to have to go to scoring.
Brendan Lee.
Showing Brendan Lee by 0.02 of a second.
Wow, what a run. Blake Thronberg, what a move. Tried to make it happen, couldn't do it. Brendan Lee holds it on the top side. Thronberg second, Boehm third. Mason Johnson brought that 25 machine home. It had been messed up for a while. He came home fourth. Casey Wiggins fifth. Dylan Schreiner sixth. Josh Oswald seventh. Caleb Hill, great run for him in eighth. Jason Warren ninth. AJ Rogers 10th. And Brendan Lee is going to get tossed over by Bryson Brinkley. Hopefully that was just a way to go, buddy.
We'll have to get a look at that replay of the finish because that was fantastic. Brendan Lee, Blake Thronberg, and what's so great is they did it so clean, right? Blake could have ran Brandon up the racetrack. Brandon could have ran Blake down into the apron, but they didn't. They ran it clean to the line, and we got a heck of a photo finish there for the LFOD Motorsports 125. Brendan Lee picks up his first win of the season.
We are going to give you that last lap one more time. What a race, Jeff. At the end, the rest of it was pretty not so great. But, at the end, here we go. Last lap.
And I don't know if Thronberg actually got into the back of him off turn 4. It looked like Brandon got a little loose. Couldn't tell if the 22 maybe got him just enough to get alongside of him. But, just absolutely close as can be at the start-finish line.
Yeah, fantastic racing.
And it's that outside, Bill. If Brendan would have pinched there and they would have made contact, he would have went up the racetrack. He wouldn't have won that race. But he took that thing way up the racetrack, got a huge run down the front straightaway, and that's what won it for him.
Yeah, that's what we talked about the entire race, is these guys were pinching so hard. And Brendan Lee, maybe he's listening to us. I'm not sure if he's in one of our broadcasts, but did not pinch at the end there. And he took the car up the racetrack just a little bit, got the momentum, was able to drive back around the 22. We can see it on the replay. The 22 actually nosed out ahead going into turn 3. And Brendan Lee able to make that run around the outside and come home as the winner of this race. And man, what a fantastic job by Brendan Lee. Held it up for a very long time. And does a fantastic job winning the LFOD Motorsports 125 here at Five Flags.
Well, Brandon Lee going to join us. And Brandon, it's been a long time since we've gotten to talk to you. It's been a couple seasons since your last Challenger Series win. You get it done tonight, but I mean, it was by inches at the start finish line. What were you thinking coming off turn 4 there to the checkered flag?
Yeah, I kind of worried me a little bit there. He was able to get under me. I didn't want to pinch him down and wreck myself, so I just want to thank him for racing me clean there. That was a good finish. Couldn't ask for much more, really.
So Brendan, how did the car feel as the runs, started to mount a little bit? We finally got some green flag racing. I know there's a tremendous amount of cautions that probably played into your favor, right, being out front. But how did the car feel as we started to, you know, run some of those closing laps and Thronberg started to put pressure on you?
Yeah, the car was really good. Shout out to Daniel for building a good set. I know last night I struggled in qualifying a bit, so I kind of tried to play the tire game and save. And when it was time to go, I really couldn't go anywhere. So I figured that everybody didn't burn their stuff up as bad as I thought they would. So tonight qualified a little bit better and figured I'd go for it early, try to get the track position, and it seemed to pay off. So.
Well, Brendan, it seemed like you were getting a good run there on those restarts, and you'd get away, and then as soon as Blake caught you, you'd catch another caution there. But were you a little worried when the green white checkered fit it came that anything can happen on those kind of restarts, and then especially with it being double file, maybe he would end up getting around you there?
Yeah, a little bit. I know when I was behind him, I didn't get the best start, but I was able to run him down and it seemed like he was able to do the same thing to me. So I think we were just kind of tit for tat there and end up being a good race.
So Brendan, every time we try to talk to somebody in victory lane or even on the podium, we try to give them a shout out, an opportunity to talk about their real life racing, and we know what you do here in the Carolinas. So is the car ready? Have you brought it out? Have you been racing the late model Charger this season?
Yeah, we actually raced I don't know if it was last weekend or the weekend before, but down at Florence, in the Charger class. I think we had 22 or 23 cars and we ended up 5th in that race.
So
Well, Brandon,
more plans moving forward with that Charger car, mainly just Florence.
Um, Yeah, mainly just Florence. We'll probably run the Charger deal down there and maybe a limited race here or there. Just depends.
you kind of playing spoiler. You're 46 in points, not really in contention this season for a championship, been part-time driver, but it's got to feel good to at least come out and get a win. I know it's been a bit of a struggle for you this season. It's got to maybe make you think about coming back next season and racing for a championship, right?
Yeah. I mean, when I show up, the goal is to win. I haven't been able to make some of the races just due to some work obligations and different stuff, but it's definitely fun to come and run these races. They're pretty tough, honestly. These guys aren't no slouches, and just the strategy of it. Like I said, yet last night I tried to save and it didn't work, and tonight, get the track position. So everything's got to fall in line for you to be able to pick up a W in this series.
Well, before we let you go, Brendan, obviously there's a lot of people that help you get speed in these late model stock cars. We talk about it every single week. So who do you want to give a shout out to tonight that helps you go fast?
I want to give a shout out to Casey Kelly. He was on the box for me tonight. I think Mason Johnson would have got a little bit better finish, but him and Cody Kelly were having some radio communications. I think one time Mason thought he was clear. Cody said he wasn't clear. And they were having some problems there. I think he would have been a little bit better if he didn't have that damage. But yeah, I'm gonna give a shout out to Casey for being on the box. Good and Boys Racing. And to my real life sponsors, they helped me out a lot. And this is a good opportunity to give them a shout out. Rains Hospitality, Hartsville Country Club, DSI Metals, Monraga Roofing, and Browns RV Superstore.
Well, Brandon, congratulations tonight. That was a fantastic race. Thanks for putting on a heck of a show there. You and Blake Rumberg. That's going to be one of those epic battles to the finish. I think we're going to be talking about for a while.
Yeah, I just can't thank him enough for racing me clean. It takes a good racer to do something like that.
Well, thanks, Brandon. We'll let you get out of here. Go celebrate with the Kellys and your whole team. Congratulations.
Thank you.
So it's Florence boys, Jeff. Florence, South Carolina.
Yeah. Well, now joining us, last week's winner, and you almost made it 2 in a row. It was 200s at the line. You look like you might have had a shot. You were on the inside through 1 and 2, and going down the back straightaway, you were inching ahead. What were you thinking through 3 and 4 there, coming to the checkered flag?
I just wanted to stay off him, man. That was a brutal race, I guess. And you look at it from a total perspective, I just wanted to give him enough room and didn't want any cautions or mess up a good race. So I was just, like I said, I probably gave him a little too much room. Probably could have ran a little bit higher coming off the corner, but man, my big thing is trying to run guys clean, and overall goal is trying to make it to the top series.
Well, Blake, that's actually what I was thinking when I looked at the replay of the battle off of turn number 4. Do you feel like you kind of run up just a little bit more, maybe gotten a little bit more momentum? It looked like you kind of yanked the car down coming off of 4 and might have broken a little bit of momentum that maybe, I mean, possibility. Obviously, hindsight's 2020, but it might have cost you the win. Do you think you could have run them up just a little bit more?
Oh yeah, that's what my guy was telling me. It was on my box. He said, "Man, you're giving him too much room." But man, like I said, last thing I wanted to do is hit him, and then he bounced off the wall, and I win the race, and then big controversy on me not giving enough room. So hey, look, the second place is still good. I would have liked to go back to back, but I think it's a big points night, so that's in all, it's a good race night.
Well, you started on the outside front row, and right off the bat, you and Reagan Parent started battling it out, and you got to the front, and then Brandon got around you. Did you feel like you still were going to have time to maybe get back around him, or in hindsight, do you think you should have fought him a little harder at that point?
No, I shouldn't have fought Reagan right there, but I definitely should have fought Brandon. I figured we was going on that long run. I was like, man, I know he was driving way harder than I was, because like I said, like last week, I was looking for a certain lap time I was hitting it, and I knew at the long run, like I said, I did some practice as soon as the practice lobby opened, and I knew kind of what my tires were going to be and what I needed to finish off versus some of the guys I talked to last night and how hard they ran for that long run. I knew if I could get to a certain lap and still run this pace, I knew then I could just go balls to the wall and just press it as hard as I could.
So that kind of differed a little bit from Brandon's theory. His theory was get to the front. He felt like people didn't burn their stuff up when they ran their cars hard last night. So looking back on the race now, where you were kind of pacing yourself, let him go, but he was able to hold you off. Do you think maybe you should have gone a little harder, maybe not really gone for that lap time, but just kind of stayed out there out front? I mean, it's obviously you look at it, right? You're like, yeah, that's what I should have done.
Right.
But
Yeah. No, yeah.
Maybe the strategy that he played kind of got him the win here in the end.
Oh yeah, for sure. Because like I said, when I was out front leading, I knew I could. When he got up behind me, I started picking it up a little bit, just kind of matching his pace. And then I missed my line one time, and he got up under me, and I was like, "Well, it's gonna go green flag." And as you could tell, it took me about 4 or 5 laps to catch him on those restarts. But after about like 5 or 6, I knew I was almost a tenth and a half quicker than him every lap. So I knew if it kept going green, I would definitely pass him, and not pass him with ease, but pass him with still a lot of tire left, so I could keep my lead then. If I would ever gain the lead again, yes, I would have just ran it 100% nonstop. But like I said, good. Congrats to him on the win, and yeah, hindsight 2020. Yeah, the next time, if there, the biz next time it would be ran 100%, and they'll just have to catch me, I guess you could say. Not trying to sound cocky or anything, but yeah, I'm just gonna run balls to the wall.
Well, Blake, I know you're one of those guys that's got a lot going on. You're doing the official racing, the open setup league stuff, and of course here the fixed setup racing. So it takes a lot of people to help you out and keep you up to speed in all these different series. Who do you want to thank? Who do you want to shout out that might be watching tonight?
Tyler Payne at EPI, all them guys over there. Everybody at the shop, Trevor, Aaron, Josh Cottle, Barbecue, Alex, everybody over there. Of course, y'all know my deal with my wife. Made him, most importantly, let me race this game, and the man upstairs. And I believe that's about it, especially you guys for putting on this league. And like you said, I'm looking forward to one day joining the big boys and run on Monday night.
Well, Blake, thanks for taking the time to talk with us. Congratulations. You've been on fire in the last 2 races, a first and a second, and it's just heating up for you as you head into the playoffs. It's the right time to start getting hot in the series.
Yes, sir. That's trying to be the best you can be right here when the playoffs come down, so we can make a run to the goal is to get to the top 4, and then if we make it there, then it's championship time. So, but like I said, thank you to all you guys. Appreciate it, and looking forward and see y'all next week.
All right, Blake. And next week, off week, but we will be back in 2 weeks when we head to IRP.
Yes, sir. We'll see you then. Thank y'all.
Well, now joining us, our 3rd place finisher tonight, Cody Boehm. And Cody, at the start of the night, we talked about some of the guys that have an outside chance of making it into the playoffs, and they just got to have good runs. and you did it again tonight. A third place finish. Your worst finish in this entire series since you joined has been 11th. You've been on a roll, and you might leave here tonight with a chance in 2 weeks to make it into the playoffs. How do you feel about that? Coming in late and still having a chance to maybe be a championship contender here.
Yeah, man, I'd never thought that was going to happen. I thought I was going to have a hard time just qualifying for the races, but I mean, man, I'm not nearly as fast as 95% of these guys, but holy cow, they like wrecking each other. So, I'll take advantage of it all day.
Well, tonight, obviously, you did avoid Cody, but clearly you had a tremendous amount of speed to run right up there in the top 3, the top 5. How did the car feel as the race wore on? Did you have a certain strategy? We talked to the 2 top guys, and Brendan Lee was kind of going as fast as he could, and Thronberg actually, once he kind of lost the lead, he was kind of saving tires. Did you do any of that, or were you just trying to get to the front?
I mean, when I think I started 12th, I was just trying to get towards the front at that point, but and then once I got to the top 3, which I think I was pretty much there from like lap 25 on, I was just kind of just riding around a little bit, but we didn't really get enough green flag runs for tire wear to really take effect. I mean, I think the tires heat cycled so much that there really wasn't that much fall off. But I mean, when we would get a longer run, I would start to slowly reel in the top 2 a little bit. But I mean, it was just so tough to pass that, I mean, I would have needed pretty much brand new tires to get around them, I think.
Well, Cody, that final lap, you're watching Brandon Lee and Blake Thronberg side by side coming to the checkered flag. Is there a part of you that's kind of hoping maybe they'll get together and you'll be able to slip by? I mean, how on guard were you waiting for something to happen there so you could try to take advantage and get to the line first?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to say I was hoping that would happen, but I mean, I was kind of hoping they would maybe scoot each other up the track and, maybe I can sneak underneath them, but that just wasn't the case. But I mean, man, you can't be upset when they have a finish like that. I mean, that was a hell of a finish, and those 2 guys are very good, so I'm not surprised that they finished that way.
That actually makes me smile a little bit that you're hoping that the guys in front of you. Of course you are. I mean, why wouldn't you want to luck into them?
Yeah. Hey, I'll take them how I get them.
I agree. I'm thinking, yeah, run into each other. Give me this win. Absolutely. But Cody, before we let you go, man, I know you got Velocity Motorsports sitting on the side of the car, running that. What is that? Like a Martin Truex throwback there, but that's a cool looking car. But who do you want to give a shout out to this week? Obviously, podium finish that gives you speed in this race car, helps you get up to speed in late model stock.
I want to give a big shout out to Daniel Pope and everybody at Velocity, because I mean, he's such a help to me, and he's been a really good friend since I've been on their team lately, and just everybody that hangs out in the chat, and want to thank you guys for putting on a great league. I do wish that we would get more green flag runs and get better racing, but I do think that time will come hopefully soon.
Well, Cody, we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. Congratulations. Your first time in the booth, your first top 3 at ITZR, and I have a feeling there's going to be more to come for you. And we hate to say we're rooting for people, but it's, we always pinpointed you right now as one of the guys that we know is going to race super clean, and we look forward to maybe seeing you in that championship 8 later on this season.
Yeah, man, I'm going to give it hell. Certainly going to try hard for it, but thank you guys so much. I mean, this has been a lot of fun. I'm glad I took on the challenge and ran against these guys. I was kind of nervous at first, but it's been a ton of fun.
Well, we're glad you took the challenge as well. I mean, it's tough to do. It is a really, really tough group of guys, and you're seeing it. Guys that race on Mondays come in and they miss the show on Tuesday night. So I mean, there's almost no difference in speed between Monday and Tuesday, and that's what's so crazy about this series now.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it's just been so much fun.
All right, Cody. Well, we're going to let you go hang out with the Velocity Motorsport guys and celebrate another podium finish for them. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.
Well, Bill, that is a wrap for us for tonight. The LFOD Motorsports 125, a little bit rougher than last night. Didn't have the tire strategy that we saw last night just because of all the more cautions. But we got the finish we wanted, right? Which was down to the wire photo finish. I mean, that what more could you ask for?
Right. I mean, great last lap between Brendan Lee and Blake Thornburg. That's what you want to see. But like you said, I think the caution's going to put a little bit of a negative light on this race. I think that all the guys we talked to there in the top 3, they want to see more green flag laps, and unfortunately we just didn't have that tonight. And honestly, Jeff, it's unfortunate there was a few guys. It's not that many guys that were really involved, and we had the car get parked tonight. That hasn't happened all season, I don't think so. Those are nights that we see, and hopefully next week they're able to clean it up.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're not done for the week. We still got that third race,
right.
Thursday night. The Cottle Captures 100 from Richmond. That is, I believe, round 6 for the Sarah Super Series, the Pierce Fleet Service Super Series. And me and Bill will have the call for that one. Now, we start a little bit later. I believe it's about 10 p.m. Eastern start times for our Sarah events. So we will be live on Facebook, live on YouTube, live on Twitch. And then, of course, we do have an off week next week. It's Memorial Day, so all that stuff going on. A lot of people are going to be out of town, so we will not be racing next week. We do have an off week.
We're taking naps.
You're going to be taking naps? Well, we will be back June 5th and 6th, and that race was originally scheduled for Southern National, moving to IRP, so we can have a little bit bigger racetrack, handle the car counts, and a little bit better racing there. That'll be the LFOD Motorsports 110 as they come on. They got 3 races in a row. The LFOD Motorsports 125, the 110, and the 111. That's kind of cool, just back to back to back.
Yeah, LFOD Motorsports, big supporters. We really appreciate it. That's Live Free or Die, by the way.
Yeah, that New Hampshire. Check them out on the link. They sell cars. I believe they do work as well. I do the tires and all kinds of service and stuff. So check them out. Thank you to everybody that's hung out with us on Facebook all night long. The Facebook chat has been off the chain. I mean, it's been crazy tonight. I think, Bill, you had a lot of people over there on YouTube. The Braxton DeWeese fan club was going nuts over there.
They were, absolutely. The Braxton DeWeese fan club is fun to watch, and that's where I've been hanging out. They haven't said hi to me yet, though.
Oh, well, you fix that, guys. Next 2 weeks, when we go to IRP, make sure you say hi to Bill over there in YouTube. Thank you so much for everybody that hung out with us all night long. We will see you Thursday night for the Pierce Fleet Service Super Series, the Cottle Captures 100 from Richmond. Thank you, and see you next Thursday.